Alright guys, we are here in some SnowRunner. Haven't been in SnowRunner in quite a while. Something different. Just mixing things up a little bit. And we are going to do what should start off as some pretty simple hauling missions, and we'll see what we get into. We got a lot of really good trucks. Still haven't really experienced much with this truck, so I'm not sure how good this truck is, so we'll find that out along the way. So let's go ahead and get started. So one thing I already don't love about this truck is the differential lock is only on when you have it in low. Let's take a look at our map here. Okay, so we are staying on the main road. The differential lock can only be turned on when in low gear. So because of that, a lot of the 8x8 trucks that I have full-time diff lock, which is pretty nice because then you don't have to worry about getting stuck while in automatic, because let's face it, I'm kind of a casual. I played this game with a controller, and so manually shifting from auto to low to high to neutral, reverse, all that stuff is not really something I typically try to do. I typically like to get my truck set up where, for the most part, I can run auto during most missions and with most setups. Alright, let's just make sure we're going the right way. Yep, okay. So we are going to pick up whatever we can pick up from this location here. Every location provides different materials that you can haul. So we have them, if you look in the top right of the screen, you see that the location we're working on right now requires quite a lot of stuff. So we're going to be moving different objects, different materials there, and we may use an assortment of trucks. We'll see what we have to do. Let's take a look at what's available here. So that's concrete blocks, but we don't need concrete blocks for our current objective. We don't need cargo containers. We don't need pipes. We don't need that. We do need cement, okay? So we'll load down with cement, and we will be on our way. So our objective, we are here at the warehouse. This is going to be pretty easy at first. We're going to go just down the road. We've already repaired the bridge, so we'll be able to take the bridge on the main road, go just down the road and drop this off, and then we'll have to go further for some of the later supplies, but this will just be a pretty simple pickup and delivery run. But for anyone who has played SnowRunner knows nothing is really ever as simple as it should be. This is a pretty short trip, so hopefully we can't get in too much trouble in the middle of a short trip like this. So I am a longtime fan of the Spin Tires games. I started with the original Spin Tires probably around a year after it launched. played a ton of the first Spin Tires, then played a decent amount of Mud Runner, but I think Mud Runner might have been just a little too similar to Spin Tires because I had literally put hundreds of hours into Spin Tires, and I think the similarity from Mud Runner kind of kept me from getting into it as much. It felt like I've already been here, I've already done this. I loved the game. I love Mud Runner. It's a great game, but it just didn't grab me the way that the original Spin Tires did. And of course, the original Spin Tires kind of got everybody because it was something so unique. You know, nobody had really ever done a mud simulation game before or anything quite like the original Spin Tires at that time. Alright, so this is about as easy. This is about as easy as it gets in SnowRunner. Okay, so we've dropped off 2 loads of cement. We need 2 more. We're going to see how many of these... we'll do one more quick haul off of cement, and then we'll see where we can go get some other stuff. I don't want to make it too easy. It won't be any fun and it won't be any challenge. So I am in... Actually, where am I? I am Black Badger Lake in Wisconsin, and I only recently got here. I've only completed a couple of minor missions, nothing too in-depth or anything. This is my first multi-step mission that I'm doing. I think I returned one truck that was stuck in a swamp, and I also fixed the bridge. I think that's the only 2 missions I've completed here in Wisconsin, I think. So still not very familiar with this map or where you can go easily and where you can't go easily. I'm honestly not sure how difficult of a map Wisconsin is, the initial Wisconsin map. Seems to not be as hard as some of the ones I've done in the past. I know there are different difficulty levels for different maps. Of course, the game kind of starts you in some of the easier locations, but even those easier locations present a lot of challenge, a lot of difficulty, a lot of stuck trucks, a lot of mishaps. SnowRunner lives up to the Spin Tires name. It is like Dark Souls in mud. It's pretty challenging, series of games, and I think that's what keeps people coming back is just the difficulty. You kind of frustrated, and then you finally pull off the thing you're trying to accomplish, and it feels really good to do that. And I recently, this year, like so many people, I played Elden Ring. Oh, okay. So this is what I didn't realize that places could run out of materials, so that's good to know. Okay, so they do need a concrete slab. So once you use up this location's materials, then you have to travel further to get the materials you need. Okay, so these complex missions with multiple deliveries and all this stuff, I don't remember there ever being anything like this in the original Spin Tires, and even in Mud Runner, I could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't remember Mud Runner having these multi-stage, multi-delivery type missions where you're really traveling all over the map just to complete one mission. It seemed like they were much simpler back then. Just go here, get this, and bring it here. Still really, really challenging, and sometimes very, very challenging, but simpler. You know, things were simpler in those games. SnowRunner, they really went above and beyond with what they've included in this game and what they have done, because there's so many hardcore fans of these Spin Tires games that will eat up basically the more content you can create, the more the fans will just eat it up. I know I'm one of them. I don't know how many hours I have in this game currently, but I've got a lot. I know that, and I have dual hours, so I've played it a ton on PC to get to where I am here in this save that I'm playing on right now, and then on Xbox I also play with one of my friends and have gotten pretty far in that save also. So I've kind of repeated a lot of things in the game, but it really didn't bother me because, you know, even though you're doing the same deliveries and completing the same missions and stuff like that, the simulation of getting stuck in the mud is completely unpredictable. So what works or doesn't work, what works the first time around on PC doesn't always work on Xbox, or maybe the plan was good but you didn't execute it as well, or you took a different path, or, you know, there's so many variables. It remains really, really difficult even though you're playing the same locations and doing a lot of the same things. Okay, so we've got to make 4 concrete slab deliveries. We've got to get cement. So I'm wondering, is there a way to know what each, it doesn't appear that there's any way to know what each location has. So we're going to go back to that location one more time and see if there's anything else that we can get from there that would be useful. If not, we'll have to go to one of the farther away locations. It is a good idea on their part to make the supplies of certain things limited at these warehouses so that you have to travel more and more. It forces you to, you don't want the game to be too easy. This is not a game that's meant to be easy. It's meant to be challenging. At times, it can be ridiculously challenging and maybe a little bit over the top, but I still like it. I know the difficulty can be a bit much, and for some people that's just not the kind of games they like to play, but for those of us that really enjoy the challenge of it, you can see I've got different trucks parked in different places. One of my other 8-wheel drive monsters, I turned it over on a mountainside, and I had to get this Tega here that's parked right here. I had to get it and go save the other truck, and then I made the last delivery to build this bridge with the Tega itself. And so I'm someone that doesn't really stick to one particular truck. I like to change around from vehicle to vehicle, and I feel like if I used one truck too much I would get bored. So I kind of want to use everything at my disposal. Plus, I mean, let's face it, I'm not that, like most of us, I'm not that amazing at this game, so I get stuck and I have to use other trucks to get myself out. So I play on single player more than anything. So when you're all by yourself, you got to tow your own trucks out, or if you flip a truck over and drop all your cargo, then you got to go save that truck and reload all the cargo, and I mean, that's the fun of SnowRunner. That's what it's all about. So you see how not having a diff lock on really slows this truck down. That's a brand new truck. I think I bought the DLC, but I never used this truck before. So it's a brand new truck for me. I've never driven it before today. So we're kind of learning about it together. We're doing good on fuel because we're not really driving very far. I think what we might need to do is get the Bandit involved after we make this delivery. The Bandit has kind of become my favorite truck. It's certainly not a perfect truck. It has some weaknesses. For one, it's really top heavy and loves to flip over. But it's 8-wheel drive. It's a little more compact in size. At least it seems that way. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's because it sits higher that it looks smaller. But it's not overly large like some of the 8-wheel drive trucks. I've upgraded it to have the really large, I can't remember what they're called now, but the really large mud tires like you see on that Tega right there. I can't remember what those tires are called, but those tires make a huge difference. It makes the truck really, really formidable in mud. And the Bandit also has all the time all-wheel drive and all the time diff lock, so it really is a monster when you get into mud and water. It really pulls really, really hard. And it also comes with a crane, so you have the ability to manually load if the need arises for that. So pretty great all-around truck. The one limitation it has is fuel capacity. It only holds, I think it holds less than half what this truck holds for fuel. But it does have a roof rack, which expands that some. You do have to run a fuel truck if you're doing anything too serious with the Bandit, because it just doesn't hold that much fuel. So, which I like running a fuel truck. I like having a fuel truck parked somewhere kind of intermediate along the way, and then just stopping by and getting fuel. Like, that adds to the fun for me. Alright, so we're going to unload this. So that was the last concrete slab that was available at that location. We've already taken all the cement that was available at that location. So what we're going to do now is we are going to shut the engine off, and we are going to jump to our Bandit. Before we jump to the Bandit, let's just see. So we can loot some of these broken down buildings to get some of the materials we need. Or we can go to the railway station. So if we go to the railway station, I'm going to have to go through some pretty serious terrain to get there, and then once we get there we load up, and then we should be able to climb up this hill here, take this little pass through here, and come out close to our drop point. Might be a little bit risky, but I think we're gonna go for it. Okay, so this is the Bandit. The Bandit is... It's probably currently my favorite truck in SnowRunner. It's really, really versatile. It does everything well. You see the 150-liter fuel tank. That's its one weakness. Is it just doesn't hold... It holds less than half the fuel of the truck that we were in just a moment ago. But I've got the big tires on it. I've got a snorkel on it. It has the crane. I think by default, that's part of this truck, is the crane and bed system. Just a really great all-around truck. And we do have a truck carrying fuel that is out. Let's take a look at that, actually. So we are here. Our fuel truck is here. Okay, so if we have to, we'll bring the fuel truck to meet the Bandit somewhere over in this area, and we'll deal with that when we have to. So the two weaknesses for the Bandit, it's a fantastic truck, but the weaknesses are the lack of fuel, so it doesn't hold that much fuel. It's amazing off-road, really, really good off-road truck. It's fast, it puts down a ton of power. It's kind of like just a steady force when it gets in mud. It's always all-wheel drive. It's always got the diff lock on. Really, really good for heavy mud and heavy snow and heavy, river crossings and stuff like that. All right, we're going left or right here. We are going straight. Okay. So I haven't been this way, so I'm not sure how bad this flooded area is. Luckily we have a snorkel, but we are about to find out just how bad this flooded area is. Flooded areas in these Spintires games can be hit and miss, so we'll see just how terrible this is. Okay, not too bad so far. So for those of you who have never played Spintires or Mud Runner or SnowRunner, this is basically the game. And certain maps, the majority of the map is flooded or just really thick, really brutal mud. So moving at a snail's pace through water or mud or getting stuck and having to tow yourself out with another truck is the majority of the content in this game. I mean, for some people that's boring, and I understand. That's, some people don't enjoy watching that, they don't enjoy playing that. But then there are some of us, like myself, who have watched hundreds upon hundreds of hours of the Spintires games and SnowRunner and all this, and I'm amazed by what some of the guys who play this set of simulators are able to accomplish. Some of the missions they take on, hauling these major logs and stuff, and they go off the beaten path and take like little mountain trails while hauling like a sequoia tree or whatever you call it, like a redwood, like a massive tree that should never be taken through a mountain pass, and these guys go for it, and it's just pretty awesome. Some people, the games aren't hard enough for them, so they have to crank the difficulty up, actually. Okay. Wait, is that what we needed? We got concrete blocks. No, that is not what we needed. So we need to remove our cargo. Need to pay closer attention. So it's not this, it's not this. Okay, concrete slab. We need 2 more of these. So some of these loads are really, really heavy. The concrete slab is one of them. So is the concrete, or cement, I mean. this looks a lot worse than I thought it did on the map. So we need to take a left and go over this mountain here. Oh, this is going to be fun. So the Bandit, much as I love it, is one of the most prone to roll over trucks in SnowRunner, at least in my experience. This thing loves to roll over. It's kind of like the Scout, the 800, Scout 800. That thing turns over like crazy. So in this truck, in some of these trucks, you have to be really, really careful where you place yourself, or you will flip right over, especially when you're hauling a heavy load like this. But as you can see, the Bandit makes pretty fast work out of these hills and stuff. It's a powerful truck. In low gear, it's almost unstoppable. And yeah, I really like this thing. It's much better now that I have the bigger tires on it. When it had the taller, narrower tires, it was even more prone to roll over, to a point where it was almost unusable on certain missions, because some missions, they kind of challenge that. They set you up for failure. Alright, so here's a mission right here. Okay, I guess we've already accepted that mission. Let's just double check our map here. Keep going where we're going. Okay. We are going to skip the night because we are not going to do any night driving on this particular playthrough. I know that the night kind of cranks up the difficulty a little bit more, but honestly, I don't think it looks very good on YouTube. I've done night missions before and tried to put them on YouTube, and I just kind of didn't like how they turned out. So yes, I'm a casual. I'm going to skip the nighttime. I know that makes me soft and everything else. You can say what you want, but we're going to do that for presentation's sake. So you can see how much of our fuel we've already used. The other truck that we were in really didn't use hardly any fuel on the first trip. I just love the way this truck looks. Just an awesome machine. I think this truck was a DLC, I think. But I could be wrong about that. I bought so much DLC for this game, I've lost track of what was DLC and what was base game. I know they've added a lot of trucks. Some people complained that a lot of the trucks that they added were kind of late game content that you had to pay for. There's plenty of trucks that are plenty capable that you don't have to pay for, but there are quite a lot of 8-wheel drive or larger trucks that you can buy with real money, and they will kind of make the game easier, especially when you get to some of these harder, more complicated missions with more severe terrain. So some people complained about that, and you know, I understand none of us wants business practices to get in the way of our fun. We certainly don't want that to happen, but at the same time, you know, game companies are in the business of making money. That's why they do what they do. And they haven't been egregious or anything like that with it. So I really haven't had a problem. My outlook has always been, if a game brings me a lot of fun and enjoyment, then as long as it's in reason, within reason. I'm happy to pay for content. I'm okay with that. Okay, so I think we are going to go right back where we just came from and do that one more time. We just got to hope that there's some more materials there that we can actually use for this mission. Still haven't seen any bricks, so I don't know if the bricks are something that you have to break down the abandoned buildings to get them, maybe. That's why they're kind of scattered around the map. The only way to get them is that way. Or if just the warehouses are very limited in how many bricks you can get. I guess we'll kind of find out as we go. It's been quite a while since I played. I can't remember. I do remember having to break down an abandoned house a couple of times to complete a mission, but I just can't remember if that was because I didn't want to drive all the way across the map or if the game actually required it. I can't remember. So right there, we were in 5th gear, and all 8 tires are spinning like crazy, and we're not really moving. So I went ahead and let off the gas and let the truck downshift into 1st so that it would slow down and actually pull itself through the mud a lot better. That's something that some of these trucks are actually able to maintain higher gears when in the mud because all the tires are just spinning like crazy, but it actually hurts your ability to move, so you kind of have to manage it. If I remember right, the original spin tires had a much better manual transmission system. Like you could kind of shift gears a lot more realistically. It seems like they've kind of simplified that system a little bit. It's been a long time since I played the original spin tires, but that's just how I remember it. I remember shifting gears in certain trucks and having the ability to do that a lot more realistically, but you guys can correct me if I'm wrong about that. Maybe I am wrong about that. Spin Tires is one of those games that you remember it a certain way, and then you go back and you realize, oh wow, the graphics really have gotten a lot better since the original game, and the mud physics really have gotten a lot better since the original game. You know, you remember it as like this graphically gorgeous, super realistic mud simulation, and for the time that it came out, it was exactly that. It was the most realistic off-road simulator that I had ever seen, and honestly, it was kind of a masterpiece in its own right, especially for the time that it came from. But like so many things, once you step away for a few years in the gaming industry, after a few years, everything kind of comes down to reality. Okay, while we're here, we are low on fuel, so we are going to fill us all the way up. So now our roof rack is almost completely out of fuel. So we're going to have to get our other truck to come bring us some fuel so that we don't have to go back to the garage or go find a gas station. In Mud Runner and in Spin Tires, I would always have a couple of trucks running. Like one truck would run the log hauling, and the other truck would run support with like repair parts, and also the ability to tow the logging truck out of the mud if it got stuck. And then I would have a third truck that I would kind of place throughout the map wherever was kind of a central point, or maybe like the halfway point on each delivery, and it would be a fuel truck hauling a tanker. That was a little easier to do in the older games because I feel like they were a little more forgiving with how much fuel some of the trucks could haul. You could take one of the smaller, less powerful six-wheel drive trucks and load it down with a ton of fuel, and the truck was still pretty capable off-road and able to get pretty much anywhere you needed to go, even with a ton of fuel on board. And at the time, I never thought twice about it, but then once I played this game, SnowRunner, they changed it to where things like large fuel tanks really, really, really weigh a lot, and they will bottom out. A lot of the trucks don't have the suspension to handle that amount of weight, and will quite literally bottom out the suspension so that the truck can't climb over anything because it's overloaded and it can't handle the weight. For some reason, I mean, I guess I shouldn't say for some reason, but the game will still let you put that attachment onto the truck, but it's not really effective at all. So you have to kind of pick and choose which truck is your fuel hauler, which one can handle the weight of hauling fuel. Some maps have large central highways where you can kind of use like an 18-wheeler with a full fuel trailer and just move up and down the middle of the map, placing your fuel trailer in different areas, and then just as you're hauling materials or hauling logs or towing trucks or doing whatever you're doing, you just keep stopping by that trailer and getting fuel from it. So some maps are a little more forgiving in that way. Some maps don't have anything like that at all, and you have to bring the fuel out into the mud and the rivers and the sunken towns, and it can get pretty intense at times, but it's awesome. I mean, if you have friends that play these games, or if you've never played one of these games and after seeing this you want to give it a try, I will tell you that as much fun as this game is, and it's incredibly fun, it's even more fun with a friend. When one of you can run support while the other guy's hauling the loads, and you take two trucks, so the support truck is lighter and more capable off-road, and the guy carrying the heavy load. Some of the loads in this game really do challenge the truck, especially early on in the game when you don't have as good of trucks. Okay, so we've accomplished... Oh, so I guess it disappears when you actually make the full delivery. Okay, I didn't remember that from before. Okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to... I think we're going to continue to use the Bandit for now, but we are going to bring some fuel over this way with our support truck. So we're going to stop right here. We're going to shut our engine off to conserve fuel, and then we are going to switch to our fuel truck, which is right around the corner. And this is, by most people's measure, I don't know if the meta... God, can you even use meta about a game like SnowRunner? I guess there's enough people that play it. There are tons of people that play this, and they play only this. So I guess you can say it does have a meta, but this game, for a long time, this truck right here was considered the best truck in the game. I don't know if it still is, because several expansions have come out since then. Okay, so we are... Okay, we got the add-on. We're going to fuel ourselves. Then we're going to fuel the Bandit. Now, is there a way to... Hold on. Is there a way to fuel the Bandits? Trunk supplies. It doesn't appear that there is. Oh wait, there we go. Okay, so now our roof rack is full again. So now we need to switch back to this bad boy and fuel the Bandit once again. Okay, there we go. Okay, so this is a little bit overkill, I will admit. We are going to need this bridge at some point, so we probably should see what we need for this. Okay, we're not going to mess with that right now. We're going to get back to what we're doing. And we are going to... Actually, you know what we're going to do? We're going to drive a different truck. We are going to drive this beast. So, where are we picking up from? Oh, so it does tell you. Okay, so this train yard railway station no longer has those supplies that we need. So that's what we needed to know. Okay, so there are different places we can go to these. Okay, so that is a warehouse that we can pick up from. That is pretty far away. We've used that bridge before. So if we were to come back this way, we'll stop and get fuel. And we come down here, we come down, take this little bridge, climb up through the hills, through here, and up to this warehouse. I think that's what we're going to do. Now, this truck right here is a throwback from the older games. This was I think it was Spin Tires and Mud Runner. I think it's it's based off of one of the trucks, which I think it was the C255, I believe, which was my favorite truck in the old games. It was like, from my experience, probably the most, it was either the 255 or, it was one of the trucks from the old games. And if you look it up online, this truck is kind of the spiritual successor to those trucks from the earlier games. And though this truck has some size deficiency compared to a lot of the trucks in SnowRunner, this thing is a monster. It's fast. You can put the big mud tires on it, which makes it almost unstoppable. It has a ton of power. It's really fast when it's not being bogged down by mud. It has 5 gears and it moves at a high speed. It's able to pull a ton of weight. I used it to rescue that truck, the support truck, when it was flipped over in a valley. I was able to flip it over without even having to try, really. And this thing is just a ton of fun. It's fun to drive because you almost can't get it stuck. Okay, so we are going to refuel. Tega. And the other great thing about the Tega 6436, where they come up with some of these numbers I'll never know, but another great thing about this truck is it holds the same amount of fuel as that huge truck and a lot of the other really large trucks in the game. So you can drive this thing forever, it seems like, on one full tank of fuel. So you can make really long deliveries without having to worry about having a fuel truck following you around everywhere you go. Alright, so we need to take a look at our map. We are going to go... We're not going to go to that house. We could go to this house right here and farm the bricks from there, but instead we are going to go to this warehouse. We're going to see how much of this we can do without cannibalizing these deteriorated houses. I can't remember if SnowRunner forces you to do that or if it's just there as an option. So we're going to try not to. We're going to try to get all of our supplies from warehouses and things like that, railroad yards and things like that. But if we have to eventually cannibalize some of those houses, we will. So this thing doesn't have the ground clearance that a lot of the bigger trucks have. It's lower to the ground, which is at times a negative, because when you're like what we're doing right now, climbing over rocks and things like this, that can be a downside. But with these big tires, it's almost unstoppable, even with the big rocks. I mean, it just kind of brute forces its way through everything. I typically use it as a support truck. I'll put like a flatbed on it or a box bed on it, and just, I don't haul with it that much because it's almost a little too easy, I guess. Maybe I shouldn't say easy. There's nothing really easy about SnowRunner, but it really is. You'll see, even loaded down, because it is lower to the ground. It has a really low center of gravity. It's really, really tough to roll this thing over. It doesn't topple over easy. Tons of power. Great big tires. Great for mud and snow and water. Alright, so we are headed that way. So it looks like there is a trail straight in front of us that goes... Oof. Is that actually a trail? I think it is. We are going to attempt it because we are in this bad truck. Some trucks I would not attempt this, but in this truck we will go for it. Some issues with the view here. The camera placement has always been a little bit odd in these games. Alright, we are taking... Wait a minute. We'll take a left and then we'll take a right. Yeah. So take a left. And then our first right, oh boy, that's quite a hill too. So we're going to go through this mud hole, which seems horrible. Hope that we can get through this. Alright, so we're in third gear. Let's let it downshift into first and see if that helps us. Yeah, that's better. Making more progress now. So, I don't remember, I think it was the year 2014. The original Spin Tires was out, and I didn't at the time have a gaming PC, and I was relegated to, at the time, Xbox. So I didn't have a gaming PC, and I would spend so much time watching people play Spin Tires on their PC, and it just made me want a PC so bad I couldn't stand it. And then in 2015, I finally got my first gaming PC, first ever custom built gaming PC, and I don't know the exact hour count for Spin Tires, but it's a lot. I've played a ton of Spin Tires. All right, so we need to go to the right. You see how this truck, like, no hill is too steep, no mud is too thick, no rocks have so far been too big for this thing. It just kind of muscles through everything. And like right there, it stayed in fourth gear and went right through that mud, which most of the trucks in this game just cannot do. So it's kind of a cheat code, this truck. Kind of cheat mode in this game, if I'm being honest. I haven't figured out what its weakness is. Like I said, the only weakness I can come up with is that it's lower to the ground. But that's never really hindered me before. I mean, I haven't gone like rock climbing with it or anything like that, which I know that's a big thing in SnowRunner. A lot of guys do rock climbing. Alright, so we are going to go around this, and then we're going to cut off on this little mountain path here to get to this warehouse. Who decided to put a warehouse there? I have no idea, but that's what we're going to do. So as you can see, I have horrible, I don't know what it is about, I think it's because the map rotates. You can rotate the map, and because of that, in all the Spin Tires and Mud Runner and SnowRunner games, I just have just a serious lack of sense of place. I just don't know where I am, ever. So I'm constantly looking at the map, and I know that's not fun for you guys who are trying to watch what I'm doing, but I really can't help it. I'd really get lost like every 5 seconds in this game, so you'll see me opening the map constantly. That's just kind of how I play these games. And I also apparently have short-term memory loss, because I'll look at it and I'll be like, okay, we got to take a left and a right and a left and a right, and then 2 seconds later I can't remember what we said we were going to do, and I'm having to look at the map again. So I think that's our location right there, that yellow arrow. I think that's where we're currently headed. So if this location doesn't have bricks, then I guess we'll know that we do have to cannibalize all those broken down houses. And we missed our road. Great. Alright, so now we are going to have to go, we're going to take this, we're going to take a left when we get to the T, and when we get to the river we're going to take a left and do some stupid stuff to get down to that warehouse. So left at the T, and then left at the river. Those are our instructions. Let's see how good I can remember. So here's the T, take a left here. And you can see we've barely used any fuel, even making this longer trek in this thing. I don't think this truck has the option for like a roof rack type setup where you can, wait, should we go there? Would that take us where we're trying to go? It would, but boy oh boy, it does look treacherous. But this is all going to be treacherous, so let's go for it. Alright, so down here, sorry about the trees clipping into the camera. Alright, so we are going to take our time. Oh, this isn't that bad. The other thing that this truck, ooh, it's a pretty good hit right there. The other thing that this truck has an advantage over the the 8x8s, like the Bandit. One of the things I didn't list as a weakness for the Bandit, I listed that it has low fuel range, and which with the roof rack it does hold 300 liters, but it still seems to have a short range compared to some of these trucks. Alright, let's see what we can get here. So that's concrete blocks. We do not need that. We do not need that. We do need metal rolls. Oh, we need 6 metal rolls. Alright, we are going to load up on metal rolls. Okay. So those look pretty heavy. I guess we'll see just how heavy they really are here in a minute. So this is going to be... Man, now that I see the way we have to go, I almost wonder if we shouldn't go back the way we came. I think we're going to. Alright, let's go back the way we came because we know that way. We know this truck can make it, so with the load it's going to be harder. So let's just go ahead and go the way we're familiar with. So in any truck in SnowRunner, even the ones that have a lower center of gravity, when you're hauling a load like this, you have to worry about it rolling over. And all it takes is getting a rock under your inside tire at the wrong time, and you will roll right down the mountain. And when you're making clips for YouTube intros and stuff like that, that's a cool thing to show a truck rolling down a mountain. But when you're trying to make a video to share with people, rolling down a mountain is not really what you want to do. This thing would do a lot better if it would quit trying to shift into second. It's actually in second right now. So I think after we make this delivery, we're going to wrap up this video. I'm not really sure, you know, when it comes to games and the way I play games. Alright, where is our drop off? It is here. Okay, this is our drop off. So we need to go back the way we came, which means we need to take a right. Come through here, go through this factory area, come down here, go down to that bridge, back up the shore, and then there. Okay. And I'm already forgetting. Okay, I had to take a right. Okay. So, I don't see myself making like a series of Let's Beat SnowRunner together videos. As much as I would love to do that, I am way too bipolar for that. The way I play games is kind of all over the place. I've gotten really into squad lately. I've been playing quite a bit of squad. I'm hoping to put some of that on the channel. Of course, I have my CSRL racing league that we're a part of with a bunch of guys, and I upload the races from the racing league on this channel. I have a few hundred games, and I just play whatever sounds good in the moment. Whatever I feel like playing in that moment, that's what I play. So you never know what I'm going to play, and I never really know what I'm going to upload, what game I'm going to put on YouTube, what game. Basically, when I'm in love with a game, which I fall in and out of love with these games all the time, when I'm really in love with a game, I feel like sharing it with other people. And so, like, this video of SnowRunner is the first SnowRunner video I've made in months. I don't even know when the last one was. I don't even remember if the last one was on this channel. It was so long ago. So I used to make SnowRunner videos. I don't even think I talked during those videos. I just made the video and uploaded it, and very few people watched it, and I was happy with that. When a game kind of grabs me, I upload it and share it with whoever wants to watch it. And the only thing I really do with any consistency is the racing league, CSRL Racing League. I do that. Our season is about to start this week, actually. So for the next 8 weeks, we will be having championship races. We're going to crown a champion again for season 4. You know, that is a lot of fun, and that's more structured. It's more organized, and actually has like a schedule, and we stick to the schedule. I don't think I could ever be like a full-blown YouTuber who says like, hey, Elden Ring is out, let's play it until we beat it, and we're gonna beat it in 6 weeks, and they just play it every day and upload videos for 6 weeks. And I don't think I could ever be that guy. I'm just not consistent enough to be able to do that. Is this where we came? Yeah, this is where we came up, I think, right here. So we need to go through this mud. So yeah, I don't think I could ever be consistent enough with any game. As much as I love games, I'm actually going to school to become a game developer right now. I'm in college doing that. I love games of all different types. I've gotten into DCS. I've gotten into Squad. I still go back and play tons of my old games. Every now and then I'll go back and play games I haven't played in 2 or 3 years. I'm kind of all over the place when it comes to what I play and when I play it. And I just never know what I'm going to do. And I kind of like it that way. I kind of like not knowing, because it gives me freedom to not tie myself down. The negative side of that is I don't beat very many games. I don't have a completionist mentality when it comes to games. I kind of just play them until I'm no longer hooked, and then I move on. I have a tendency to get rid of games that don't grab me quickly. If I start playing something and it very quickly falls apart, I'll just quit playing it. And we are getting stuck in this mud hole. You see the impact that having this extra weight on the truck has. We went right through this earlier, and now we are having to winch ourselves to get through here. But as always, the Tega prevails. This thing is a monster. Alright, let's take a look at our map, because yep, this is where we gotta go down. So this is going to be challenging. We got to take our time through here, because we do not want to roll this truck right now. Got through that okay. We're making good progress. It is getting dark outside. So we are going to try to finish this delivery without skipping the nighttime. Alright, I think we got to go down the coast, right? Down the shore, yeah, to that spot there. We'll come up. We will make our way to the road. We're almost there. Let's hold it together. Just a little bit longer. And we're still doing good on fuel, so no worries there. this spot right here, this is where I turned over the 8x8 was right in here, because there's a spot where the trail gets really narrow. You can see it right there at the crest of that hill. It gets really narrow and the tires kind of want to go on one side or the other, and it rolled me right over. And I had to come rescue that truck with this truck, actually. So we're just going to avoid that ditch altogether and take on the rocks instead, although we're getting high centered a little bit with some of these rocks. There we go. There's the weakness for this truck, not having high ground clearance. Which that ground clearance is even a little bit less with this heavy load on board. But like I always say, the Tega prevails. This thing is an awesome truck. I can't remember if the Tega is a truck that you find on a map somewhere. I think it is. I think I found it in Russia, but I could be wrong about that. I don't think you can buy this truck from the store, in like the in-game store, and I don't think it was DLC either. I think this truck was just in the base game, but you had to find it on the map, and I was able to find it, and man, what a find it was. This thing is arguably the best truck that I have, as far as all-around capabilities. I don't know if I have anything that can do quite what this thing can do. And now we have made it to the road. We have successfully delivered a really, really good amount of stuff in one video. And there is the Bandit sitting in the dark. One thing I've got to figure out is I got to figure out how to turn on the headlights. You know, in every Spin Tires game, the headlight button was one of the main buttons, but in this one, I have no idea what button turns on the headlights. They don't seem to be automatic, so I'm going to figure that out. We'll figure that out for the next time, so maybe we can not be so afraid of the dark. So here we are making our delivery. We're going to unload. So that's 2 of 6, and we've got to deliver 12 bricks. So there's a lot of work left to be done just on this one mission, just delivering this one mission, and then there's multiple missions on top of that. So there's a lot to do. Hopefully we'll make another video whenever I decide to continue, make another video for the channel. But if either way, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I had fun making it, and you can't beat SnowRunner. It's a pretty amazing game. So thanks a lot for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next video.